All right. Karibuni tena. We are back to another conversation that we have every week about the politics of this country, where we are going, how we are looking, and just my own personal opinion of how it looks, politics, economics, and social. And today I want to focus on the politics of Mchele and Nyama. Right? This was a phrase that was used by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. That time he was a candidate for Kenya Kwanza when he was campaigning, and he came to Nyeri and he told people, we win. When we win, we're going to make sure we invite you to State House to come and share a meal of Mchele and Nyama and Fanta. And those of us who are in Azimio really made jokes of that particular statement. In retrospect, when you think about it, and for those of us who are now, or anybody who has spent some time analyzing the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua and how he speaks, there's a lot of symbolism in the kind of phrases that he uses. And they tend to speak to Mama Mboga, to the ordinary mwananchi in a way that you do not understand. Those of us who are the political elite and the middle class people were making jokes about the fact that, nyinyi mnaongea tu juu ya chakula. But essentially, he was basically telling people that if you put us in State House, we're going to take care of your fundamentals. We're going to make sure you have certain basic things. And I think when we analyze this particular weekend, which is actually now being called Weekend ya Mchele na Nyama in Nyeri County, it is interesting to see how Rigathi Gachagua has managed to keep that particular conversation alive to the point that it is now a basic expectation that it is going to be delivered. When you think about what the President Ruto is coming to do, this is his first working tour of the Mount Kenya region, right? It's taken around 11 months, it's taken around 9 months of his government, but it's actually going to 12 months. In a few days, we'll have hit 365 days since the last election. This is how long it's taken him to come to this region. Part of the reason that it's taken him this long is because when they got into government, it's in any new venture, and this is something I'm very fair to give to them, you can't walk into a government, start running government, running administration, organizing your cabinet, organizing your structures, coming up with your plan, implementing, just getting your plan integrated into the system of government, and things start changing within 6 months to a year. The reality is that the reason we give every government, every administration 5 years, because it's going to take them a while to settle down and start implementing real change. So the people who've been hitting up on this government saying, they're taking too long, I don't know they're comparing it with which one. There's absolutely no government that takes office and makes fundamental change within a year. I know there have been people who've said, Kibaki got into office and by January he had he was being able to offer free education. But you see, part of the conversation was because he was dealing with institutions which could give him credit as he organized the money to give them. Right? So the free education was that the parents didn't pay, but the schools had to wait for that money to be organized and made available for the schools. So everything takes a bit of time. So here we are. What is the president coming to do in Nyeri? Working tour for the region. A lot of his concentration is actually in Central Province. He's not going to go to Meru, he's not going to Tharaka from what I have heard. So we have him in Kiambu, where he's dealing with a water project. He's dealing with a market. We have him in Kirinyaga, where he's dealing with housing. He's dealing with a water project. We have him in Nyeri. In Nyeri, I think, is where he has quite a bit. He's got a market. He's got a water project. He's got actually a couple of water projects in Mukurweini, in Othaya. He's got a hospital going up in Kieni. He's got quite a bit of stuff going on. All in all, listening to Hussein, you saw at least 10 projects or 10 locations, 10 parts of this region that he's going to touch during the 5 days that he's here. In addition to that, of course, he's got meetings with the regional leaders. He's got a interdenominational service actually on the grounds of State House. I think it's going to be a first. And it just tells you how different this particular government and administration is. So it's the politics of this particular visit that is of interest to me. Part of it is because Mount Kenya region is a very restless, politically restless region. It's the first region to go against a sitting president from their region and completely rebel against him. It's never happened before. Maybe it will happen some other time to somebody different. But the kind of decision that the region made against Uhuru Kenyatta while he was in office is something that was completely unexpected, right? They made a decision and they stuck to it, to a point where now people are saying when the Kikuyus promise you something politically, they will deliver. If they were able to deliver this against a sitting president from their region and a scion of one of the most powerful people who is considered a founder of this nation, they have made a point. The person who led this rebellion is none other than Rigathi Gachagua, who was then a member of parliament of Madira, one-term MP. In fact, when he was proposed to be a deputy presidential candidate for Kenya Kwanza, again, those of us who were against them made jokes about the fact that he was a rookie, the fact that he had just gotten into parliament. And then you are comparing him with Martha, who had now been proposed as a running mate to Raila Odinga, who both of them have a long history of being in office, being in elective office. As fate would have it, Kenya Kwanza won that election. And for me, as Gujiro Abogo, when I look at the comparison, I keep asking myself, if it had been Martha Karua who was Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya today, would the things we are seeing happening, especially as regards to fighting for the interest of the region, Mount Kenya region, have been taking place? Would Martha have been able to stand up against the pressure from the rest of the country and ensure that Mount Kenya region got what it deserved from a Raila government? Considering what we learned is that the region was going to vote against Raila Odinga. I was in a meeting a few days back and a lady who was there said, God's ways are God's ways. Because as a member of the political establishment from Central Province and the Mount Kenya region, a win for Ruto, as much as it wasn't what I wanted personally, is actually the best thing that happened to our region. We now have a formal, public, and disputable stake in this government. 43%. Rigathi is very good at reminding people that 43% of the votes that Ruto got that put him in State House came from the Mount Kenya region. So what does that mean in politics? It means that first you have a region that has the right to demand. Politics, I did political science and we were told politics is the distribution of resources that are not enough. A cake is put on the table, there are more people who want that cake than the cake can serve. So there's always going to be compromise, there's always going to be dispute, there's always going to be push and pull. And you have to be able to bring your argument to the table to get anything from that table. Today, Mount Kenya region is able to bring an argument to the table and say, we are stakeholders of this particular government. We gave 43% of our votes. 43% of the votes that put this government in office came from our region. Right? Of course, because we try to be idealistic, we start saying, no, you know, once a government is elected, it takes care of everybody. True enough, everybody pays taxes. But also, you have to remember how that government got elected. You cannot assume that the 43% or the population, the vote block that came in to give this particular government the right to govern doesn't count. And this is where my focus goes to Rigathi Gachagua. He is a man who has made it very clear that he's very focused on ensuring that what the region expects is delivered. Somebody would ask why. He's pragmatic, he's realistic, and he's very honest. First, if you want to talk about honesty, think about what he said a couple of days ago when CSs were doing their performance contracting. He reminded them that the minute you were given a job by William Ruto, he stopped being your friend. And he now became your boss. And he was going to sacrifice you. That is what he said in so many words. That if you mess up, William Ruto is going to throw you under the bus because he wants to get re-elected in 2027. He's focused. He's got a contract with the people of Kenya and he wants it renewed in 5 years. And if you are standing in the way of getting it renewed, he's going to throw you under the bus. That was Rigathi Gachagua calling it as it is. Very few politicians would be able to put it that bluntly. The second thing that Rigathi Gachagua has been very clear, and especially this is something that we need to listen to, because even the regions that are starting to organize themselves, you're seeing Western organizing itself, Northeastern, you're seeing the coast, you're seeing even Nyanza organizing itself is because first, it's starting to look like it's going to be very difficult to defeat Ruto in 2027. So everybody wants to have the kind of stake in the next government that Mount Kenya has in this one. So again, Rigathi has to keep fighting, pushing, reminding people, by the way, mkumbuke sisi ndio tuliingiza hii serikali. Important. And again, this is why I say I don't know whether we have anybody right now, anybody else would have been able to pull that particular conversation the way he's pulling. So this weekend, one of the people will be watching, everybody will be watching is Rigathi. He promised the people of Mount Kenya that vote for William Ruto and I will deliver. I will ensure he delivers to you. So William Ruto is here now for the first time as president. So Rigathi is there, has to be next to him, reminding the people of Mount Kenya, first, thank you so much for standing with us. I'm sure he's going to do that, and he's going to do that very well. Second, he's going to be trying to highlight what this government is going to do. And third, he's going to create the atmosphere for William Ruto to speak to the Mount Kenya people and affirm to them that the promises he made before he got elected are going to be delivered. So far, I think he has done enough. Whatever restlessness and despair that has been there has been a national despair. Now we have food, the weather has changed. I expect Unga is coming down. We are starting to see some light at the end of the tunnel on some things. Fertilizer. Mount Kenya region has received 450 something thousand bags of fertilizer going into tea and coffee and rice and local stuff. So I know that's also going out of 3.5 million bags that the government has ordered so far. So the region is getting its stuff. And I think for me, the lesson here and the kind of advice I would like to give our region, especially our political elite, William Ruto is now president. He's thinking about delivering his contract so that he can come back to the people in 2027. His people around the country are organizing themselves to cut another deal with him. As a region, first, let's ensure we get what we were promised this particular term. And that we're only going to get if we continue empowering Rigathi Gachagua so that he can actually be able to continue being able to ask for it when they go around the table. I have watched Rigathi is smart enough to be able to ask for it in a way that doesn't actually alienate his boss from the rest of the country. Right? He's playing the very smart politics there. I think we haven't understood enough, and this is going to be one of those weekends to showcase and to actually see Rigathi in his best. I suspect we are going to change that opinion of the fact that he's a rookie politician. I think that one has gone away. What the transformation of Rigathi from one-term member of parliament to an undisputed deputy president has been amazing. So let's watch, let's enjoy. Those who will make it to State House for Mchele na mandazi. Mandazi ni hapa Rware. It's Mchele na Nyama na soda ya Fanta. Please enjoy yourself. You worked for this. You are a stakeholder in this government. And I think even for those of us who didn't support this government, we have now understood and accepted that we are stakeholders as a region in this particular government. And it is our wisdom, it's going to be in our best interest to rally around Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, empower him to be able to deliver and support President William Ruto so that this government delivers enough for the whole country to be able to give enough for our region. So looking forward to seeing what's going to happen this weekend. Looking forward to seeing those projects launch. Some people are claiming those projects were from the older government. Governments are continuums. Whatever happens with the first government continues to the next government. In fact, the most successful governments are the ones that are able to build onto what they found. You can't come and change stuff. You have to keep running because the people who are working in last year in government are the same people who are working in government. So you have to continue funding projects that you found and finish them and then make better ones. That's what we are looking forward to. So all the best to this government. I made a decision some time back that once the politics were over, you come back to the interest of where you run. And for me, the interest of where I come from call upon me to support Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to succeed. Because he succeeds, we succeed. But then I also understand that I understand enough to know that for him to succeed, President William Ruto has to succeed. So my prayers go to that particular team because Kenya will be good and better for us if they succeed. Thank you very much. Hii weekend, it's been very cold in Nyeri. So we've put in quite a bit of soup. And of course our usual pilau, nyama choma. But then also we are inviting people, all those people who said, Kali wanakuja Nyeri, please come. We have very, very good accommodation, Wi-Fi, conference facilities. We'll be happy to accommodate you. All the best. God bless you. God bless Kenya.